Yesterday we were discussing it more than we were really debating it. I know. I think in some ways we're also debating it. But anyway, today we have the official debate. So again, critical thinking skills are more important than creative thinking skills. Okay. Now, logically, you could think about this and you would say, more important for what? Right? Okay. You can think about this a couple different ways. Are they more important for your professional growth in your career? Are they? We didn't put that, into the statement. We just said in general, critical thinking skills are more important. Okay, so that's going to be the topic. I'm gonna type it. It's of course it's on our website, and we always hope that for most people that they go to the website to look at it. But just because we're only going to have an hour today. I'm gonna type it anyway. Critical thinking skills are more important than creative thinking skills. Okay, so think about, and hello Hiroki. Think about the which side you want to be on. If you agree with the topic, you will be on Team A. If you disagree with the topic, you will be on Team B. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Let me step away for just a moment, okay? I only got up like not that long ago, even though I took a shower to try and wake up. I still need one more cup of coffee before I'll be ready to proceed. So give me 1 minute, I'll come back. Think about the team that you want to be on, and we'll get started, okay? Okie dokie? Okie dokie. Okay. By the way, does everybody know what okie dokie means? Have you guys heard that before?
Yeah.
I heard of it so often.
Okay.
But still, I do not know exactly what it means.
It's just a way of saying okay,
Oh, okay. Okie dokie. I hear it so often.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of, I don't know. My dad used to tell it to me all the time.
It's kind of saying, okay, understood, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'll be right back, okay?
It's a relaxed thing, right?
It's like a fun way to say okay.
Fun way. Okay, thank you.
Just to make it fun. How are you, Mary, today?
Fine, thank you, Johnny.
Good.
How are you?
I'm okay too.
Great.
I'm also
Great.
having my cup of coffee.
What time is it? Is it also early for you? Early morning?
It's 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Almost afternoon. Almost noon, right?
Yeah. Hey, Safe. How are you, Dr. Love? Are you working?
So you are 11. So you are 11 hours behind or ahead?
I don't know. Say hi to everybody, Safe. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, Aman.
Hi. How are you guys?
I'm okay. Hello, Hiroki.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm okay.
Konbanwa.
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 Genki desu ka?
はい、元気です。元気ですか？
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
どうもありがとう。Alright. Good. Sugoi.
Yeah, you guys pronunciation is very clear. So yeah.
Good.
Congrats. おめでとう.
Do you know the topic for today?
Yeah, I'm thinking which side. Oh my gosh, it's difficult.
Alright. So we are waiting for everybody to join. We are waiting for Rick to come back.
Yes.
How many people are there already in the group?
In the call up here right now?
Yes. Yes.
Well, we have you, we have Rick,
Yeah.
Saif,
Sure.
Aman, Hiroki, and myself.
Oh. Not so many right now.
Just 6.
6. So, Johnny, your name on Skype username is Stark.
Yes,
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Johnny Stark. Yeah.
Johnny Stark.
Okay. All right, I am back. So
Welcome back.
thank you. So let me write down who we have here. So Mary, I'm trying to write people down in the order that they came. Well, it's not going to really matter, I guess, for this. Say, Aman is here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Are you?
Good. Thank you. Good. Is that Adam? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and again, let me repeat the topic one more time. As I mentioned, we only have 45 minutes, so we're going to probably go pretty quickly. Okay. So I apologize if it seems like we're a little bit rushed. But and again, I would like to ask everybody if they're not speaking to please make sure your microphones are muted. So let me show. I have Mary, Jamila, Hiroki, Johnny, Saif, Aman. Is it Mizda? I don't know the name. Mizda.
I think it's Mom
I don't
and
know the name.
Door.
Adam. Okay.
I think it's Mom and Door.
Which one? Momodor, the MSDA.
Yeah, you're the newcomer here.
Okay, moment. Okay. Oh, moment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moment. Okay. All right. So, welcome everybody, including our new people. Again, I would like to please remind everybody that the only way we're successful. Hey, Moment, how are you?
Yes. That's Moment.
Yes. How are you, Moment? Okay. So I would like to remind everybody that the only way this works is if people.
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Fine.
Good. Happy to hear
What
that.
about yourself? So the topic about
yeah, the topic we're going to do today is a debate. Creative thinking skills are more important. I'm sorry, critical thinking skills are more important than creative thinking skills, is a topic. And we're gonna go pretty quickly. So I apologize, but I don't really have any options. As I was saying, the only way this works is if people keep their microphones muted when they're not speaking. So, Amon, if you can make sure your microphone is muted when you're not speaking, okay? That's going to be really helpful. So, Mary, we'll start with you. So, what team would you like to join? Which team?
Team B.
Team B. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Jamila, did you want to join a team?
No, I don't know. I can go to
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, Hiroki, do you want to join a team?
I join session or do you join the team or join the team.
Say that one.
I want to join the discussion, but do I have to join the team?
Well, I would suggest at least joining Team C to be part of the judging.
Okay, so creative thinking. I think more important.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna be on Team B. Okay, so you're with Mary. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Hiroki. Johnny.
Yeah, I will be in Team B.
You gonna be in Team B?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm sorry, Hiroki, you're on Team A then, right? Okay, and then Johnny, you're on Team A. Okay. Okay.
So which team?
You're on Team A because the topic is critical thinking are more important. So if you agree with that, you would be on Team B. Wait. No, wait.
Oh my God, you're confusing me.
Great.
Confusing myself. Okay.
Oh my.
So Mary doesn't think that critical thinking is more important. Okay, so no, you were right the first time, Hiroki. I was wrong. Okay, you're on Team B. So Johnny, you're on Team B?
Yes, I'm Team B.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you think that creative thinking is more important, okay?
No.
Well, it's not that you think you think that critical thinking is not.
Rejecting the premise doesn't mean that you support the other idea. You don't. It doesn't mean that creative thinking is more important. You should say that critical thinking is not more important. They can be equally important.
Okay,
that
got
will
it.
be
Got it.
So.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Good. Okay, Safe, did you want to join a team? Okay. Oh, you're a listener. Okay. Aman, did you want to join a team? Oh, she's not here. We lost her. Okay, Moyu's here though.
Hello.
Hey Moyu, how are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I believe that critical thinking is more important than
Okay, so you'd be on Team A, okay? Oh, good. At least we have somebody on Team A, okay? And then we have our newcomer Moment. Did you want to join a team? I don't know if you know what we're doing, but did you want to join a team, Moment? Okay. I'm not sure that.
Of course.
Of course. So what team did you want to join if you want to join?
Mister, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, but it's got a little bit of noise. But yeah, what team did you want to join? I don't think you know what's going on, huh? Okay, what I would suggest...
A or B.
Yeah, you can choose A or B. Yeah.
Or even C.
Or even C. Yeah, the first time. So you might... maybe this time I would suggest kind of listen how we do it. Maybe, Moment, for the first time and to get an idea of how we do it, okay? Okay, that's what I would suggest. Okay. Anybody I missed? Anybody
okay, I choose A.
You want to be on A? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Sure, okay. All right, so we have a small group here. We're going to go ahead. He said he's listening. He typed it. He says, I'm a listener. Yeah, I learned my lesson was safe. I'm looking at the chat sometimes. Normally I don't look at the chat, but he sneaks that stuff in there. Okay. All right. So these are the teams I have. Okay. And again, we're gonna be pretty quick. I don't really have any options. Okay. So Team A, we have Moyu and Momen. Team B, we have Mary, Hiroki, and Johnny. I guess, Jamila, are you going to be here listening the whole time?
Yeah, I said I would be on Team C.
Oh, did you? Did you say that?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, my ears need to be fixed. Are you sure you said that?
Yes, 100%.
Do you have evidence?
Yeah, I guess if we recorded that, yes.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. So let us go ahead and begin. Okay. Oh, Safe is laying down again.
Oh my God, Safe! Come on.
He's funny. Okay. So let's begin with the topic. All right. Today's discussion. Oh, wait. I want to record. Shoot. What happened to? Okay. Well, I can't find function. Anyway, okay, so today's discussions, critical thinking skills are more important than creative thinking skills. We have the teams. I think I went through it once, and I can do it again. Today is March the 3rd, 2018. So, to begin, Moyu, please tell us why you went with Team A, Mr. Moyu.
Yeah, I think for me, when you look at the topic, it says critical thinking is more important than creativity. So if you have only two choices where you have to choose critical thinking or creativity, I will go for critical thinking, because critical thinking is the idea that being able to assess the claims, the information is you are getting daily on a daily basis, and making a judgment, or maybe if you're just evaluating and trying to solve the problems, the issues at hand wisely, being able to differentiate what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. So in that idea, you can see critical thinking is very vital for our life, because a daily life, every day we have to face the decisions on whether it is on a family or job related decisions. So you have that ability where you can think clearly, you can make decisions reasonably and clearly. You know what's the best for yourself in every matter at hand. Where creativity is that just being able to come up with new ideas for the current problems, or maybe come up with a new way of doing things, maybe creating new skills. So if you look at that, I think critical thinking is more important, more critical, more valuable than creative thinking, because you can survive on life without creative thinking. You have to follow what other people do. You can survive still, but without critical thinking, I'm sure you're gonna run into problems in your daily life, in your family life, in your job-related issues, because you can differentiate what is reasonable true, what's not true. You can all the time you are messed up about the decisions, and you may make wrong decision. You made on everything from the family life to your life to the job. So I think critical thinking is far more important than creativity. That's not to say creativity is not important. It's important, but for the sake of this topic, I think if you were put that two definitions where you have to choose critical thinking or creativity, I will choose critical thinking, because I have that ability already defined. So that's the reason I believe critical thinking, it should be more, not only more important, but far more important than this creativity. You don't need creativity every day. Yes, it is important, but it's not essential for your life. Many people don't have creative thinking, but still they can. But without critical thinking, you can't be successful even in life, I guess. So that's the thing. The reason I believe.
Okay. Very well put.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, so let's go to Mary. Mary, why do you think?
Yes.
Why do you disagree with the topic?
I think critical thinking skills is important, but not more important than creative thinking. I think both are important. If a person is too critical, I guess nothing could be done. You critic this and that, and sometimes you can't even your life. Not everything is clear. You need to jump. Let me just make an example. In the past, when there were no bridges, and people had to face some places which had no land to walk, like a river. At that time, what they could do, of course, they had to use creative thinking to build a bridge to across a river, like in our life. When we face some problem, we can't always find a solution and based on the fact you have in your mind. You need to use creative thinking to maybe to imagine something, maybe to predict or to jump and to find a solution. And in our society, in our world, without creative thinking, the society is always the same, nothing new. And in the past, we didn't even have enough food to eat. We didn't have enough clothing to wear. And how about that now? With creative thinking, the world is much, much, much better, even than our parents. And for a job or for business, if you are only creative, use your creative thinking skills. Sometimes you do not know what you can do. You question everything and you can't get it's difficult to get a conclusion or solution. Of course, you have to use your creative thinking, both work together to find a solution. Like that, if your company sells something which are not so popular in the world, and people even didn't know what the product can be used. What can you do? Of course, you have to use your creative thinking to make ads, to make unclear sense clear, and to get unclear word to exist in the world, to make your future business. So for me, both are important. Not creative thinking is more important than creative thinking. Thank you. That's what I can say.
Okay, Mary, very good. Very well done. Very well done. Thank you. Very interesting. I like your metaphor about building a bridge. I like that metaphor. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's go back to Team A. And we lost. Okay, Moment's here. So Moment, what do you think? Why is critical thinking more important? Moment. Hello, Moment, are you here? Moment? Hello? Hello, Moment. Come in, wherever you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
On the mic. I'm sorry for the noise around.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So, yeah, okay.
Go ahead, please.
Now I don't see like critical thinking is more important. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes, we hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
First of all, I can't judge which better critical thinking more important than generating ideas, which is creative thinking, because both are important and everyone has its time to choose.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when you want to generate ideas,
Mm-hmm.
you want to judge them, you want to see which better idea to do, which better idea to think about. And I like in generating ideas is that this way of thinking make you like open-minded and use. For example, there is people who write every day. They use they write essays. They use the brainstorming, so it's generating new ideas. It's related with invention. Back to judging ideas, which I like more because sometimes you need to know which a better idea to choose, which a better idea you need to measure, which the idea that you need is the most important one, and to analyze is it good or what is the suggestions we can choose. And I like it because I think it's more important right now because I think like it has a logic. And thank you.
Okay, okay. Well, I think you were on Team B. It sounded like you were on Team B because it sounded like you think that both of them are equally important, is what you were saying. So I think you were actually should have been on Team B.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay,
No.
well you're the judge. I'm just saying. Okay. Then I'll keep my mouth shut and I'll just keep moving forward. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Team B. So Hiroki, and well done, Momin. Good job. Mr. Hiroki, why did you choose Team B?
Yes, I think both are important, but if I choose for this debate, I like to choose critical thinking is more important. Sorry, creative thinking.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
More important.
Okay.
Because to step one step beyond, we need creativity, as Mary said. Human didn't have anything at the beginning, but our imagination or creativity make a lot of things happen. In order to that inspiration make it real, maybe or find a solution of how to build it or something, we need critical thinking. But without creative thinking skill, it's very difficult to make completely new thing. Who can imagine we are using a small gadget, phone, watching movie, such kind of thing? Maybe people in the past criticize what is it? But human imagination, creativity made it real. So that's why I chose Team B. Creative thinking is more important than critical thinking. It is my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that was simple. Oh my gosh, you guys are so simple and to the point. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you were pretty clear in the beginning. Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'm going to be able to make the meeting on time. Okay. So Johnny, we're going to go to you now. Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
Very well.
I would not argue that creativity is more important than having critical thinking skills. Rather, my argument will be that they are both equally important. I think they complement each other. It becomes important to have both when we have a problem in our life or in something that we found. If we have a problem and we need to come up with a solution, I think both of those skills are important to find that solution or that possible solution. For me, critical thinking is when you analyze the information, when you analyze the data, and you reach to the conclusion that you need to have some kind of solutions. You need to have a kind of a different approach, perhaps. It's when you understand what you have in front of you, and when you understand that you need to have a solution for that problem. And creativity for me is when you come up with new ideas, when you brainstorm. It's when you propose something, something new. That for me is being creative. But if you just analyze the data, if you just understand what you have, but you don't take steps, if you don't come up with an idea, if you don't move forward, then you won't have any kind of progress. So that's why I say that both of them are important, equally important. When you are creative and you propose new ideas, then you can start analyzing them. Then you go back to critical thinking skills and you analyze them. And like some of the people said before, you analyze which of those new idea could be more feasible or could give you more benefits, and then maybe you can move forward. But if you just analyze the data, if you just understand what you have in front of you, but if you don't propose anything new, if you don't propose solutions, if you don't brainstorm, if you're not creative, then you're not going to move forward. And concurrently, if you have just idea, but you just stay there and just think about new idea, but you don't do anything about it, if you don't analyze your idea, if you don't come up with a plan, if you don't develop your objectives, if you don't develop some kind of tasks to meet to those objectives, if you don't determine the resource needed to implement the tasks, if you don't have some kind of timeline, and if you don't have any way to determine tracking and assessing method, and then you're not going to progress. But again, if you just analyze things, if you just all the time analyze things, if you just ponder about things, analyze things critically, but you don't have any ideas, if you're not creative, then that's all you're gonna do all day, just thinking. So I think both of them are equally important in order to solve a problem. That's gonna be my argument.
Okay, so it was like Moyu against the world, basically. Well, not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moment was there too.
Oh yeah, moment. Yeah, Moyu moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we heard both teams. So thank you, Team A. Thank you, Team B. So now, Jamila, what do you have to say?
Before Jamila, could I say some? Could I try? I would like to say something very simple. That's because of for the sake of the debate. I think critical thinking is more critical than creative thinking. Because of this, let me try to break it down. Let me try to come up with a real example life. For example, in a work environment where you are the manager, or maybe even an ordinary employee, or every day you have to face a problem, and then usually being able to solve that problem, being able to have that ability of creating the best decision among the options available to you, being able to have to pick out I mean the best option. I think for me that's the critical thinking. In every situation, that's a work, but also in a family. I have 3 children, small kids. So always we encounter problems. That's the life. So being able to decide on the best for them. In my work, my professional life, I have to make decisions, and every day, maybe working for this company this amount of hours, or maybe trying to stick with a specific company for a long time. so that I will be able to get something in the future. These decisions for me is the critical thinking. On the opposite, creativity means to come up unorthodox solutions to the problems, to come up with new ideas that didn't exist before. So I think, yeah, creativity is important, but in terms of the basics, foundation, I think critical thinking is more important. It's just a survival matter, survival issue, where creativity is a little more, maybe, I don't know how to say it, it's a little more less important than that. So that's what I want to say. Thank you so much.
Okay, so since we gave Team A the opportunity to say one more thing, does anybody from Team B want to say one more thing before we go to Jamila? Just to be fair.
Yes, I do. One more thing. May I?
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I would say that you wouldn't have anything to analyze if nobody came up with something. If nobody came up with new ideas, with new options. What is it that you are going to analyze? What is it that you are going to put in the balance if you have anything to put there? So you need to come up with new ideas, with new options, so that you can analyze them and come up with the best decision. That's it.
Okay. So, thank you, Johnny. So we heard from Team A, we heard from Team B. Jamila,
Yeah.
what do you have to say?
I think this is very challenging because it's like choosing between your right brain and your left one. I mean, because you need both. But I think in Team A, something was nice because they were actually thinking about everyday life. Right, and for example, on everyday life basis, what's more important for regular people? Is it critical thinking or is it creative thinking? And I would agree that it is critical thinking because on everyday life basis, you need that. You always, like Moyo said, he said you every day you have situations, context, and again going back to what Johnny said, I believe that critical thinking is not necessarily about analyzing only ideas. It's about being able to judge and to assess the situation. It's about making decisions every day, right? It's about having judgments. So it's not necessarily about, saying, okay, is this idea good? Is it bad, right? And something that also Mary said, she said that, and I think that in Team B they all agree about that. You always need something to start from, right? So this is basically the idea. This is the thing. And she was saying that. What did she say? Yeah, she said that you need that to predict, to find solutions. You are creative. You need to come up with something to make the world or the society better. And also in business, you need new ideas to move forward, right? To be productive. But again, I would also question that. Do you think that, because she said, okay, this is why humanity in general evolved, because we had people that were creative. They had new ideas. I would question that. Maybe I don't necessarily think that everything that humanity came up with was necessarily a product of creativity. Maybe it was a product of their critical thinking, right? So, for example, if we think about the first people on Earth, maybe they were not necessarily creative. Sometimes it was just they just found out things randomly, right? Because being creative, again, you need to take time to be creative. You need to take time to brainstorm, to think about things, right? So it's a work. But when you found out things randomly, just like the theory of relativity, it was by random, right? It was just a coincidence. That person didn't, sit down in front of me next to a tree and says, okay, today I need to come up with an idea. It just came up randomly, and then in order to make something happen, to create something, that person needed to really look at the situation from different perspectives, right? To think about all the prospects. So I think from that perspective, I don't necessarily agree with what Team B said. I don't know. I think ultimately I like what both teams said, but I think I like the passion I heard on Team A.
Okay.
So yeah, I would.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations, Team A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, congratulations, Team A. That was not expected. Okay.
I was not.
That was not expected. Okay. So I guess passion counts for something. Okay. All right. So
No, it's not only about the passion, because I think they brought up valid arguments. They were valid. Yeah.
okay. So because we cannot, I'm gonna go in a few minutes, but again, we have a relatively small group here.
Mhm.
One of the things that, when we think about our debating and what we're doing today, I mean, that's exactly the point of thinking through things, right? We talk about it all the time. I was actually, and I think, Johnny, you had proposed a topic a long time ago, which I was going to use, which is similar to what we're talking now, but I think you had proposed a topic that debating is the best way to promote or develop your critical thinking skills, right? Something like that?
Yeah,
Something similar to that, right?
something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it is a useful exercise. It is a useful exercise to go through what we just went through. It is a useful exercise to discuss things and debate things, right? We may not always agree with the results or the conclusions, etc., but it is it definitely is something that's useful for us. Not only again to promote our language skills, but to promote other skills as well.
Yeah.
So that's really the key point, I think, here. So. All right. Well, listen. I'm gonna cheat. I'm actually gonna wrap up a little bit earlier than 7 o'clock my time, so I can do one.
Well, actually, if you want to go and if people want to stay, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can go, I guess.
Okay. So, there we go. I can go. Okay. So,
Yeah, no problem.
did you want to initiate the call then? That way I could go and hang up and then Jamila will initiate another call with you guys if you want to keep talking. Okay.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
that's
hang up,
okay, I guess. That's.
if
I
you
mean, at least
hang up,
for me,
Rick, the
it's
call still
okay.
goes on.
Yeah, I would not lose the call, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
We do not
Yeah.
need to hang up.
Okay.
You can just leave and make another call, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that's right. That's right. You're right, Johnny. So if I hang up, we'll still continue. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right.
still on.
Okay. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you,
talk to you guys
Rick.
later. We're leaving you in good hands. You have Jamila and Johnny. We're leaving you in good hands. Okay.
Record everything, Rick. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Enjoy
Bye bye.
it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye.
Yeah, so who would like to talk more about this topic? Because I personally have a lot of things to say.
Yeah, for me, I wanted
don't
to say that we can't live without you.
Okay, so let's go to Moyu first. And Moment, if you have anything to add, you can go next. Okay?
Yeah. I want to say something
Okay.
in relation to what Johnny said. I guess what I mean in critical thinking, because I think critical thinking, for example, in daily life, in my family life, we have problems sometimes. Maybe with the children, maybe with my partner.
Yes.
So when you need to reach a solution on that, you don't need creative thinking. Yes, you need, but I think critical thinking, being able to analyze the pros and cons of that specific situation, and reaching the best decision for your family and for your life. That's not, I guess for me, that's not
necessarily need for creative thinking. For example, for me, I'm accountant for a company. I'm not a manager, but suppose the managers I know, most of the time they have to sort out problems, and sorting out the problems it's not necessarily requiring creative thinking. You can solve the problems as other people used to solve the problems. It's not that new thing. It's not totally. You don't need new idea.
May I ask you a question
existing solution. I guess. But what, yeah, let me. Yeah, but what you need is that being able to judge, being able to look objectively, to evaluate objectively the information you have. And for example, sometimes the employees they claim all sorts of claims. Maybe they are lying. Sometimes they are trying to confuse you on something. Not sometimes that the issues they want to do is not the best for the business. It's not the best interest for the company. So having that ability to chat and say, yes, this issue I see, but based on this and that, this for me as a manager, I don't think this is the best idea. So please stop this and do this and that, because that ability, I think, that's critical thinking. Yes, I know creativity coming up with new idea that's never existed. I consider that like creative thinking. So I'm not sure about that, but I think that's important. But it's not as much important as creative thinking for basic for ordinary life. Yes. So yeah, you can ask me. Sorry for not allowing you that.
Yeah, well, I was not arguing that
Hello?
creativity
Yeah, Johnny?
was...
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, there is a delay. So I was not arguing that being
Yes.
creative is more important. I was not arguing that. I was saying that it was equally important. But my question for you is, because you were saying that when you analyze things and you need to know which solution is the best solution, you need to apply critical thinking. But in order to analyze things, you need to have something to analyze, right? Someone need to come up with something, right? So I will, and you would say that that's not being creative. So I guess I need to understand what's your definition of creativity. What is for you having creative thinking skills? What is it for you? What is your definition? Moyu.
Is to say briefly is that having unorthodox solution to the problems, new solutions. For example, suppose Johnny now in a work environment, you have a problem with one of your employees. He did something unethical maybe in your company, and then you wanted to decide on whether that guy will stay or whether you wanted that guy to leave, which is the best for your company. In that specific example, where do you need creativity? For me, creativity
yeah, I'm not asking for an example. I'm asking for a definition. Can you define what it is being creative?
Yeah, I mean unorthodox solution to the problems. I mean new solutions that never existed before. To come up with new solutions that never existed or new idea to the problem or issue, whatever it is.
Well, I don't agree necessarily with that kind of definition. For me,
Hello?
being creative is just thinking of something, come up with something.
Yeah, maybe.
Whether it is a new things or it was already existent, that is irrelevant. It's just creating something, coming up something by your own. That's for me being creative. Because for me, critical thinking is just analyzing things, evaluating things, understanding what you have in front of you, and that's it. To make it simpler, there's more to it, but just to make it simpler for the sake of the argument, that's what it is for me, having critical thinking skills. But for me, being creative is just thinking about something, whether it is there already, or was there, or somebody else already thought about that, that's irrelevant. It's just thinking about something, proposing something, you know. That's for me is being creative.
Can I ask you a question, and then we can go to Soso because she just joined.
Question to Moyu?
Johnny, if you had to choose, okay, let's say no, to you, Johnny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you had to choose between critical thinking and creative thinking, which one would you choose?
I wouldn't choose one.
Let's say you have to.
No, I wouldn't. I need both. I need both. I cannot move forward.
No, you have to.
No.
That's the question.
Well, I guess it would depend on the situation. For instance, if I have a classroom in school, primary school, there's a problem. There's a reported problem that perhaps children are not passing all the exams, you know, in the entire school. I think I would need to apply critical thinking skill there, because I would need to understand why that happens. You know, what is the reason? What is the resource? The source of that problem. I mean, understanding where the problem is, that would be very important. But again, if you don't, I mean, if you actually understand what the problem is, what is the source of that problem, but what are you going to do with that? Now you need to think about a solution, right? Now you need to brainstorm. Whether it is something totally innovative, totally orthodox, like Moyu said, that's irrelevant. You just need a solution. You just need to come up with something. You need to create some kind of options, right? Because just analyzing things will not give you automatically the option, because you may have a lot of options, and maybe all of them, or most of them, or many of them would be as efficient as the other. And of course there will be options that will give you more results, better results. Yes, that's okay, but still you need to have something to analyze, or you need something to put on the balance, right? But if you just understand what the problem is, if you don't come up with ideas to solve that problem, then you're not gonna move forward. You're not gonna solve the problem. You're just gonna understand the problem. That's it.
I mean, yeah, just like you said that it depends on the context and the situation. And the reason why I agreed, and I like what Team A said, is that on an everyday life basis, we have what we call time-sensitive matters, right? So when you have a really small, window, you need to make a decision, right? And when you need to make a decision, it depends. So some people would say, okay, I'm very creative, so I can just come up with an idea, right? And other people, they can really think very fast, and they can come up with a plan, a strategy for that, right?
Mm-hmm. So.
And but again, to me, to me, for example, personally, if I had to choose, I would choose critical thinking, because I believe that I am a critical thinker. I'm not a creative thinker. I mean, my right brain, and to me, this is very convenient, and I feel like I can leave without being creative, but I cannot leave without being a critical thinker. Because when you are critical thinking, involves analyzing the world around you, trying to understand it, right?
Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No, because we all need to come up with ideas sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe not as often as you actually analyze things every day, you know. But I think we all have ideas. If we wouldn't have ideas, we wouldn't be here. Okay, the world will not move forward, and you need ideas from other people too. The world does not depend on you. Whether if you have ideas or not, it doesn't depend on you exclusively. So you need of other people's ideas so that you can analyze them. You know, you can choose them perhaps.
Well, let's see what Soso and hello Catherine, she just joined. Let's see what they think.
Sure.
So, hello.
Hey, Catherine.
Hello, Soso and your family.
So,
Yeah, I heard them. Yeah.
She's never alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, some privacy, huh?
Yeah, I demand all the time. They never listen.
give us the
So
British
who'd like to go
perspective,
next?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my own perspective. It's not British perspective. Yeah. I think that they both complete each other, of course. And the reason why I think the more important is to have a creative skills, because we are all critical skills, because we are all creative in somehow in our work. You all have always we have when you work, for example, in a workplace, you will have your own touch. Maybe you will organize the folds in your way. How can you manage things in your way? You're always creative. Even in the woman in her house, she always change the decor. She always creative in her house. So we are all creative. Even the child, just give them toys and they will make a beautiful from a broken toys. They can make a house with the broken toys. They are creative. We are all creative, but we have to encourage ourselves to be more creative, and the environment, the encouragement, they're all of them. They have a part on some why some people are creative than less than others. But critical thinking, not everyone has that. It needs some experience, needs someone who tell you, please be aware of that. It's not, we don't, not everyone have a critical way of thinking. So I should, I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
As I said before, critical, we should develop that, because it's not available to anyone. And we should, because if you have a critical way of thinking, you will have new ideas. You will have from that, for example, from that art, you will say, why do you do that? Because we need that. I see. So we need something else. So I have another idea. So we need to do this also. Okay, that's great. And creativity will start, because we all have ideas, but we need encouragement. We need each other. We need opinions of others. Yeah, this is it.
This is it.
She brought a really good point.
Yeah. So I guess if
she brought the really good contrast between the personal and something that is not personal. For instance, the relevance. For instance, you were saying, Jamila, that for you perhaps it's not as important to being creative, but maybe personally for you it's not that important. But we also have the world to consider, right? If we just do everything we do and we don't think out of the box, perhaps the world is not gonna change, right? The world needs people who can think out of the world, out of the box, who can be innovative. If we really want to make a change in the world, then we need some kind of change. We need new ideas, right? But on a level person, perhaps that's not important. Perhaps you can just live your life, and without having any kind of or perhaps fewer ideas, or it's not important for you, and that's for you, it's okay. You can survive, you can live your life perfectly, but perhaps by just doing that, perhaps you're not gonna make the difference in the world. So you have the personal level and the world level. I think that was a very good point from Sosa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that was a good point. And to be honest, I was just thinking about this right this minute, and I think creative thinking skills is something you cannot learn, or if you can learn that, it will be very, very difficult. But critical thinking, skills, to me, I'm a very practical person. But so to me, something I can learn is much more important to me than something that I cannot learn, because it's useless. So critical thinking is something we can teach to anyone. You can teach it to anyone. So from that perspective, I was thinking that critical thinking are more important. So, well, let's see what Catherine thinks. She's here.
Critical thinking. Yeah. Well, actually, I still don't know the difference. For me, I think they're similar: critical thinking and creative thinking skills.
Well, they are different, and if you have a few minutes, you can open the link I just posted. They are different.
Yeah, actually, I just try to check that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can, to talk next. I first want to check that link.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So, I don't know who would like to add anything. I think Mo, you.
I think Moment.
Thank you so much. You brought up, guys, a lot of ideas. So,
sorry.
Well, it's okay. Mo, you started, so he can go, and then if Moment has anything to add, he can go next. Okay?
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Is that Johnny?
You just started, so go ahead, continue. You can
For me, creativity, I think, is like innovative, something like that. So innovative, and for example, in the world level, for example, now we are having problems, like for example, between the USA and North Korea. So from there you can tell to solve the problem that they have, or maybe we have a problem between Russia and the USA. So if you wanted to reach a conclusion, a decision on that, you don't need creative thinking. You need only critical. I think critical thinking in that is very important. Being able to analyze the situation, what could be possibly arise from that situation, and then trying to have the best decision. For me, creative thinking, critical thinking is like wise. If you are creative thinking, you are very wise. You have the judgment. You have that ability to judge between what's right and wrong. For me, I'm 32, so I've been working for some time for different companies under different managers. So sometimes what I see, you have something, you have a problem, you want to complain about something, and you go directly to the manager. And some managers, they are critical thinkers. They have that ability. They will listen to you very carefully, and by the time you are speaking, they find the flaws in you debate, in whatever you are saying, and they tell you why not this, why you do this. So from that, you become very afraid to say stupid stuff, because you know they are very wise. They can pick out they think it's the flaws. But there are other managers, if you go and try to convince them on something, they don't have that ability, and they just listen. And they say, yeah, go and do that, because they can't just have that ability to pick on these flaws and weaknesses, and they don't have that ability. So for me, critical thinking is like wise, and I think the wisdom is very important in every aspect. But yes, creative thinking, I believe, yes, you are right, it's very important, but it's like innovation, and innovation is less important than wisdom. So that's what I want to say. Thank you so much.
All right.
But there are other managers. If you go and try to convince them or to convince.
Oops.
Hello.
My turn now.
Hello.
Yes, Moment. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Moment, you can go.
Well, I think critical thinking is more important. Yeah, I think critical thinking is more important because, for example, in the way in life, we choose, for example, a work. We choose a work and we don't like that work, we will not do a good job. Now, the idea is going in the right way better than make a great job in a way that you don't like or you don't think this is the right way. This is about life in general. And I choose an example like and I picked work, and going in the right work is, and that you feel comfortable in. Yeah, this is how a critical thinking works. Now, critical thinking make you analyze which work is better for you, which work make you more successful, which work make you more comfortable in. And in exams, the other example, in exams, students in exams, like knowing or understanding the question is more important than answering the wrong answer. For example, now we have like a common a proverb that knowing or understanding the question, solving half of it. So this is my idea about it. Thank you.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. As all of you said, critical thinking makes you understand the world better and understand the problems better. It helps you to analyze lives and problems. But understanding is not enough. Our understanding is just a way to analyze things and to make our decisions to solve the problem. Of course, to solve the problem is our purpose and is the life, and it is the way to move forward. And to solve a problem, of course, needs creative thinking to come across a new idea. Like when your computer has problems and you try to solve your problems with your computer, if you can only understand, like a few days ago when Rashid said and his Skype had problems, he couldn't join the group. But of course, first he needed to use his critical thinking to find the problem. Why did it happen? And of course, if he wanted to know why, to analyze the problem, his purpose is to solve the problem. If he wants to solve the problem, he needs to imagine how to solve the problem. And first he said because he couldn't join the group, and he could make private calls successfully. So he said his Skype couldn't make group calls, but that's not the truth. I told him to make a group call by calling one person and then add more people in the group. In that way, to prove whether his thought was correct or not. Of course, that's creative thinking, right? But finally, when he made a group call like that, it worked. Of course, he was wrong, and his purpose is to analyze problems, to analyze our lives, to solve problems and to make our life better, right? Thank you.
I have a question. And before I ask my question, let's see if Adam and Aman, if anyone would like to say something. Are you there? I think, yeah, it's Adam.
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. You know, for me, my opinion, just I want to use a metaphor here. Our thoughts is like a bird, you know, and this bird has two wings, you know. You can this bird, if this bird lose one of these wings, you know, he will not fly. You know, this is what I believe. We need both. Yeah, that's it.
This is interesting. So, yeah, this is interesting. And I think this goes back to the question I asked earlier. Do you think that we all need to be creative? And this is a question I can ask you because of the analogy you used, and also Mary because of what you said. Do you think that everybody needs to be creative? Do you think that?
I think yes, but need both creative and critical, both.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I believe, you know, both of them can complete each other, you know. Like, you know, you're gonna give me a creative idea and I'm gonna criticize it, and it's gonna be a good idea. Yeah, no, this is
okay.
How it is working, you know. Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Aman, if you would like to speak or if you're even there. Otherwise, we can go to Catherine. Catherine?
Critical thinking. Yeah. I think it really depends on what kind of jobs you're taking, and because for me, I work in the lab, and I think sometimes critical thinking tend to be more important. Of course, sometimes you have to be creative, but for me, it's creative. It's more like do some dreaming. I don't know how to describe that. You know, the lab work, you have to do that. You have to go to the real life and you have to do something. So the critical thinking skills, so you can for example, if you get a result, you can be critical and to analyze your results from different aspects. So yeah, so you can and especially when you write a paper and you have to be critical, is you know, in the academic paper there is a discussion part. So in that part you can discuss your results from different aspects. Maybe your results are consistent with previous results, then it's then it's explainable, but sometimes your results may be different from previous reports. So in that case, you have to analyze, maybe there are some factors influence your results. So so in that case, the critical thinking skills are more important. But I think it's really depends, like other jobs, like the design or advertisements, they have to be creative to so that they can produce more to produce some advertisement, can attract more audiences, can increase their audiences. So I think in that job, they maybe critical thinking skills can be more important.
Yeah, very well put. But let me ask you a question. For example, you personally, do you think that in your everyday life, in your work, or anything you do you think critical thinking skills are much more important than creative thinking skills, or do you think they are equally important?
Daily life.
You personally?
Me, I think they are equally important. Like in daily life, you also have to be creative. Like example, for example, maybe you want to decorate your room, and you have to be creative, and you know what kind of decoration you want to use, and maybe some old clothes, and you can reuse again to decorate your room. So yeah, so the critical thinking also very important.
Okay. I mean, but you know, my question was, because earlier I said, personally, I don't feel like I'm a very creative person. Maybe I am, I don't know. But I'm not. I feel like I'm not. But what about you, for example? Do you feel, yeah?
Me? No, I think I'm not very creative. I think maybe one of the reason is my personality. Maybe I'm too serious, I think, in daily life. Too serious, and yeah, one of the reasons is because my personality, and even some people maybe make a joke for me, and I think, oh, maybe it's a real. So and another reason, I think, the education I received not require the creative thinking. Like we are just like, for example, in our education, and the teachers will give a lecture, and you just have to write down the notes, and you don't have to be creative and to think something different. To argue with your teacher. Also the critical thinking skills. I think I'm also lack of the critical thinking skills. I think because of our educational mode, you just I think we just like the machine, and you have to remember the teacher said and remember the key points, and because this will be tested in your examination, so you have to remember so that you can get a higher score and go to a better university. So I think
Chinese.
Yeah.
Chinese students.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a typical Chinese student. Yeah, and actually I'm a good student, so I'm a good machine. Yeah.
It's good to know that.
Yeah, but I try to improve. I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope in future I can improve both of these skills.
Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I think because when I think about creative thinking skills, I think more at a higher level. I don't necessarily think about like personal level, because to me, let's think about, and going back to what Mary said, from a social standpoint, like in society, I would completely agree that we need creative people, obviously, because creative people, they challenge like new concepts, they come up with new ideas, even if sometimes they are controversial, and it's a good thing because it's a new contribution, and sometimes this is how society moves forward. And on the other side, of course, you need people, you need critical thinkers, you need people to assess situations, to analyze them. For example, if you go to the fashion industry, you have the design team, right? And you have the marketing team. So for example, whenever the design team comes up with an idea, the marketing team or the commercial team says, okay, maybe we need to, it's a good idea, but maybe the way we should put it should be different. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should change that, right? So I think from a social level, of course, they are complementary. They are.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I mean, it's like human beings. Obviously, you are scientific, and in every human, you always have either the right brain or the left brain, which is much more prominent, much more pronounced, takes much more power, right? In every human. This is why sometimes you have creative people, and sometimes you have very analytical people, right? They analyze things a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think from a social level, I think, yes, of course, they are complementary, but from an individual level, maybe not really, not necessarily. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I should think about this more.
I don't know. It reminds me of a story. Actually, several months ago, I attended a PhD introductory event, and they asked us to maybe make a small group for 5 people. They're in a group, and you have to. They give us a very large paper, and we have to write down what we have in common and what we have not in common. So they just give us a large paper and a different and the pens with a different color, so you can draw anything and you can write down anything what you have in common. So in our team, student, I think she's quite creative. She just, because that time it's just a Christmas period, and she just she said, let's do it. We can draw a Christmas tree. You know, Christmas tree, they have a different different the triangle they ate up, you know, like as pyramid. Yeah, so they just use this Christmas tree. For example, in the top is what we have in common. Maybe 3 of us in common. Maybe 3 of us like music, and then the second 2 of us like, for example, like running, and then then next floor maybe just 1 of us like do something else. So you know, it's I really like this idea. Maybe in other groups they just write down maybe 4 of us, 4 of them like what kind of activity. But I think she just try to you know, use as Christmas tree. So our picture is really beautiful, and yeah. So I think you know, in that case, it's just a small example. You can be more creative, so that's make you more I don't know, to present yourself and more effectively. So yeah.
So let's think about, let's say, okay, you have you are interested in a job position, and you need to go through the interview process. So for example, in your area of expertise, what do you think that in this interview you should show the employer that you have critical thinking skills or you have creative thinking skills?
Well, I think it also depends. If you want to apply for a job position, maybe a leader of a team, I think it's necessary to show you critical thinking skills. And yeah, so, but yeah, so the interview, and because it's give others the impression that you are more reliable. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true. Again, it's not a black or white situation here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think just like most of our topics, it depends.
Yeah,
Always. Yeah. It depends on context, situation, people, everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so this is hard. I guess we can all have different opinions. And but again, you know, I feel comfortable when I say that I feel like critical thinking is not much more, but it's seems like it is very important every day. For example, in our life, for example, even the way you interact with people, your social life, because obviously critical thinking is something we can learn. I think anyone here can learn that, right?
Yeah.
But I believe that being creative, generating things, and to me, this is not necessarily an easy task. To me, I mean, being creative is much more difficult. So I tend to think that maybe being critical, because obviously not all of us can come up with new ideas, but all of us can have an opinion on something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can all observe things. We can all
some less important.
I didn't say less important, but
you're
to
just
me,
saying that
we have again. It goes back to being not.
Say we don't. It's
no,
difficult to
it's
do
different.
that.
You can read
you know,
between lines something and someone else.
Maybe not everybody can do that, but you know, being critical is easier. So that's why it's more important. That's saying the same thing. So something that is difficult makes it be less important, just because it's difficult.
I didn't say that again.
Well,
no, I didn't say that.
That's what I get.
I just said people need to be no. Well, maybe let me explain what I said. I think like what I said is that it's not something accessible to anyone. If you are not creative inside, if you don't have this spin of creativity, it's very difficult to create it.
That doesn't make critical thinking more important.
For example, instead of investing. Well, to me, it does, because instead of investing, let's say, 6 hours, okay, 6 hours trying to be creative, to come up with something exciting, good, I could invest those 6 hours into something very productive, and just like do something, right?
That's also being creative.
Me, from a time perspective, and no,
invest your time in doing something more productive. That's being creative.
It's not necessarily.
Yes, you are putting your effort and time in something
so let's
that
say
creates more, something that is more productive. That is not being critical thinker. That's not analyzing. You know, just sitting around and say, well, you know, this what I'm going to do means this, or it means that. That is being critical about it. You know, thinking about it, but just actually doing something, that's being creative.
Well, we have to make the difference between reasoning, thinking, and being creative. That's completely different. For example, what I do for Dreams in Motion, I have to put together a document. This is not being creative, it's being productive, but I use my critical thinking. For example, I go to websites, I do research, right? And I just compare between things. Okay, is this suitable? Is this not? So I produce something. It doesn't mean I am creative. It doesn't mean that.
Well, I agree with that, but you know, when something is difficult, right? Doesn't make it less important. It doesn't.
I said it's challenging and it's not something anyone can do, and I still believe that.
I agree with that. We agree on that. It is difficult. Not everybody can be creative, but that doesn't make it less important.
Well, to me, I think we all here, and to me, part of being successful is knowing what you can do and what you can't do. This is simple to me. We just need, and I think we talked about this about leadership when we had the discussion. I said some people can be leaders. Some people just can't not. I mean, if you think, okay, I can be a leader, I have to be a leader, but you don't have necessarily the skills, you don't have necessarily the spin. So for example, I'm not good in math. Okay, I'm not. So I know that, I realize that, so I don't necessarily waste my time and energy into that. I decide to invest my time and energy into something else, something I can do. I'm capable of that. So I just let other people do that, be good in math. I'm not good in that, so I just let that to other people.
Good at.
So to me, when I say that something is difficult, when I say something is difficult, like being creative, like going, for example, creating things. Let's think about fashion. This is the best example. Let's think about fashion. Let's think about people that create new ideas, new
before
concepts.
You go further, I think you're misunderstanding something. I mean, being creative doesn't mean that you have to put time in something that you don't know. You can be creative in something that you are good at, in something that you know. For instance, clothing. Okay, you know how to dress. Okay, you're being creative by using a different shoes one day, different shoe the other day, coming up with a new hairstyle one day, a different lipstick color another day, different earrings, right? Or just organizing your room. Perhaps you are doing something different. Perhaps you got bored or something. You just move things around. But I mean, being creative doesn't mean you have to spend time in something that you don't know. You can be creative in things that you know, in your field, in whatever field of study that you are in. You can be creative in that. I mean, being creative doesn't mean that you have to create or think about something that has nothing to do with you, that you never thought before, or you never got involved before. It doesn't mean that.
Well, I guess you don't necessarily got what I was saying, but it's okay. I can continue. But before that, we have Sam. She just joined.
Hi, Jamila.
Hi.
Hey. How you doing?
Good. Debated. We love that, huh? We should do that every day.
Sure.
So, what do you think?
So you were talking about as what I heard, the definition of being creative and being productive, right? Or did I get it?
That's the starting point.
We got a little bit sidetracked.
Yeah.
But the definition, which one is more important, right? Creative thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subject is critical thinking or being creative, which is important.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which means more important. Yeah.
More important. Well, I think that both of them are important. Critical thinking is, like yesterday we talked about it. It's very important even in your whether it's about your job or whether referring it to your lifestyle, your religion, etc. theories. It is very important. And creative thinking is well, I think in some domains or jobs you have to be very creative, and like arts or I don't know. And I think creative people are very successful in life, and so I think both of them are very important. Creative thinking as well as critical thinking.
Can you elaborate more? How so?
Yeah, be more specific.
Like what? Regarding creative thinking or critical thinking?
Both.
Yeah, why do you think they are equally important? Why?
Well, Well, as I said, for instance, critical thinking is very important when it comes to your lifestyle, your religion, for instance. You have to think for yourself, question everything. That's my opinion. I mean, if you look back at history, there were a lot of scientists or also religions who applied rules or they were the authorities and you shouldn't question them, and they did the thinking, and it caused a lot of suffering. It is damage. Like, for instance, if you look at the history of America during the slavery, they said that, for instance, at that time, they said that black people, they are inferior, and this was supported by religion as well as by scientists. So if you criticize that, if you use your thinking, people would be outcasted. You would be marginalized by the society because the church and scientists told you that. The same goes for Germany. Like at the time of Hitler, he was also supported by religion, by the government, and people who criticized Hitler or said it's wrong what he was doing, they were punished. So people who want to have power don't want people to use their brain. They just should accept it, let others think for them, and this is how people, the authority, can have a lot of power. And so critical thinking is important to avoid these things that happened before, to avoid that the history repeats. This is why I think critical thinking is important. You have to criticize whatever, whether it is, as I said, politicians, like, for instance, climate change. Some scientists say climate change exists, others don't. So there's also this war between the scientists, and well, no one knows the truth, but still you have to find it for yourself. And well, on the other hand, creative thinking is also important. For instance, when you want to be I don't know, artists, or you have to be, or there are also other companies who they want creative people, people with this potential, find something new, create something new. Innovation plays a very important role at this age, and with creative thinking, I believe that you can be very successful. Yes. So I hope that I was specific.
Yeah, so I would like to ask you the same question I asked a few people before. You, for example, personally, do you think that, for example, your personality in your everyday life, maybe your personal life, your professional life, do you think that you are a critical thinker, or you are more of a creative thinker?
I think that I'm more a critical thinker.
Yes.
Well, during my studies it was also important to be creative at the seminars that I attended, and I had to do a lot of effort to be so, but I have to say that I'm always question, not always, but very often question things, whether in my personal life or at a job. So I do it very often, but as far as creative thinking is concerned, I'm not doing it very often. So I would rather say that I'm a critical thinker. Yeah. Because yeah.
So do you think, again a question, I'm sorry, do you think that because we are saying, and especially people on Team B were saying basically that they are equally important. So do you think that because you just said that you are not someone creative, do you believe that this is something you need and you can learn?
I believe that it can be learned. I believe that anything can be learned. I don't believe in having talent and or either you have a talent, you're good at something or not. I believe that if you put a lot of effort in it, you can learn everything. And I believe that creative thinking can also be learned, and I believe that it would help me a lot. And yeah, even as I said, especially in jobs or you can be successful with this way of thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. What do you think? Because I actually don't necessarily know any Germans. I don't.
Okay.
So, but something I've noticed about Europeans is that they are, in most cases, maybe this is not true, maybe it's wrong, but in most cases they are very analytical. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. They analyze more than they create.
Okay.
What about German people? Have you noticed that or not? Because again, I think this may be something we did not talk about. I think the environment you grow up in can enhance one or the other. Meaning that you can grow up in an environment that requires a lot of creativity, right? You need to be creative. But you can grow up in an environment that requires to be much more critical, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a good question.
So what do you think? I mean, you, for example, or even Catherine and Mary would have Mary.
Yes.
Yeah, so what about not necessarily China or, let's say, Asian people or Chinese?
What's your question?
Do you think that your environment encourages people to be creative or to be more critical thinkers?
Good question. It's difficult to answer.
Try?
Yeah, I will try. Personally, for me, I can say I'm not that critical. But of course, I think most time in my life, I have to use critical thinking to understand everything around me. But as I said before, I'm not a critical person, and it's just a skill for me to use in my life. It's a tool, and for creative, probably I can say I am more creative. even I don't know where I could be wrong. That's what I have in my mind for myself. I don't know whether in China or Asia. For me, I always think creative is good for society, for our life, and I always think life is to live, not to copy. If you only use critical skills for life, you try to analyze to understand our life, to understand the world, and copy, but not copy. We just understand the life and to mix, as all of the people in the group said, in our group said, and to make better or best, or you think it's the best decision. So I can't even answer your question. Sorry.
Yes, I mean, what do you, I mean, maybe Catherine, maybe Johnny in your country, or Sam, we have also Aman. What do you think? No one? I can try.
About what? About
They
what?
fall asleep.
I said, first of all, don't you think that the environment you grow up in can enhance one skill over the other? For example, critical or creative. And for example, in your country specifically, how do you feel about the environment? For example, did you grow up in an environment where you felt like you were encouraged to be more creative or critical?
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
And according to Catherine, right, just now, she said when she was a student, she just tried to remember, like a computer, to remember things what their teacher taught. Probably in China, our environment probably most create people to make people more critical instead of creative, I guess. I don't know. As you know, I have never been well, or proper educated, so I don't know that much.
Well, I mean, this is something you can have an opinion about.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I can,
whether you are educated or not. I mean, this is something you observe, right? Something you see in your country. You have feedback from people around you, right?
But my opinion could be wrong. That's what I have.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. This is why it is an opinion. What about you, Johnny? What do you think?
Well, what I think is that the environment always shape the way that we think and the kind of actions that we can take. For instance, if you are in a country, an environment, in a place where everybody's doing the same thing, and everybody's studying the same thing, there is a lot of competition because everybody's doing the same thing that you want to do or that you like to do. So you have a lot of competition. So in order for you to be successful, to make people choose you over the other, is it is forcing you to be creative, to come up with something different. If you are in an environment and country where there's a lot of war, but both of the party are using the same guns, at the same firepower, then you need to be creative to come up with new strategies or perhaps a new kind of weapon, right? So the environment will shape the way that you will think, the kind of actions that you're gonna take. One of the things that we as a species we were successful for is because we could adapt to the environment. We could use what we have and being created about it. If we like you said before, if a caveman just saw a piece of rock, it was sharp, and he saw that he could use it to cut meat. Well, he was being created about it. Now he knows that the rock can cut meat, and he was shaping that rock in a way that he would use it as a weapon, so that he can attach to some kind of stick and throw it to animals. That's being created about it, and because of that, he changed the environment, meaning that he could adapt to the environment. Now perhaps animals were more cautious about because this new species is hunting us. So things changed. The environment of the human race also changed. Everything around you, everything that you can use from your environment, everything that you see, everything that you realize about your environment will shape the way that you think, and it will shape your decisions. So yes, I agree. The environment will definitely dictate the kind of actions that you will take.
Well, what about you? Because yeah, okay. Actually, I think I asked you the question, but you did not answer. You said they are both important to me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, for example, do
personally,
you think you are more of a critical thinker or creative?
well, I would say I'm both. I'm a graphic designer, and there's a lot of competition in my field. So, if I want customer to choose me, because that's what I want, I have to be creative. I have to come up with new designs, new things, something that will be different. And I'm also an English tutor, and one of the situation that I always face is that college students and school students and high school students come to me because the way that their teacher in their institution teach is not so much useful for them, but the way that I teach, because I come up with a new kind of approach, an innovative approach for them, they choose me. And because now that I have a different kind of tutoring, they can understand the subject, and they can go back to the school and they can apply for the exam and they can pass their exam. So for me as an English tutor, it's important to be creative about the way I teach, to see how the others are teaching and come up with a new way of doing it so that the student can actually absorb that knowledge. So I have to be creative in that too. Well, in Dreams in Motion, in our company, I think there is a little bit of a little bit of creative thinking that I have to do too, because I need to apport new ideas. I have to suggest also good ideas so that the team can evaluate them. We often need new approach, new suggestions, and we need to think out of the box if we want to be different, because in whatever we want to do, we also have competition. So I need to offer my grain of sand, my 2 cents sometimes, and be creative about the things that I'm being presented with. So in all my jobs, it is very important for me to be creative. Personally, if I'm not talking about jobs, for me, being skeptical and being a critical thinker helped me to understand the world, helped me to understand why people do the things they do, why they say the things they say, and why they believe the things they believe. So when they presented me with their beliefs, for instance, and they want me to believe the same things, I have to be critical about it. I have to be skeptical about it. I have to evaluate what they are telling me, and I have to do my own research to see and to understand whatever they're saying is actually truth. So in that kind of situation, I would say that I'm very much critical about it, very much thorough about it. So so I have my personal life and I have my professional life. I apply different things depending on those two different things. So for me, both of them are important.
Good, and I think that concludes it.
Yep.
I think we have someone else if he wants to say something. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. So we have, his name is Fahad or Ali. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Okay, so thank you everyone. I personally need to go.
Thank you, Jamina. Thank you,
so
Johnny.
much. It was very interesting and it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice for Johnny.
Hope to see you all again next week. We have IELTS sessions, we have more discussion, more topics, so stay tuned. And
for me, it would be more chance to practice, to learn.
Yeah. And I think next week we would talk about women, because yes,
interesting topic.
Emancipation.
Well, we don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm just saying that because I was looking at the date. It's March the 3rd.
Ah, okay.
And we are 5 days away from the 8th, so. Well, thank you, everyone. And also, if you have any ideas for topics or something, you're welcome to send them to anyone. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
All right.
You take care,
Thank you
everyone.
for your
Bye-bye.
extra time.
Take care.
Bye bye.